Senator Kamala Harris claimed today she was not surprised by anything that came her way last night. Not even this.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Now, Harris may not have been surprised by the specific accusations, but she didn't have specific replies. And Gabbard didn't make those allegations up. They're not unsupported. A lot of them come from an op-ed that was written by somebody who used to work with Senator Harris. Now, how did it work out? Well, that situation, you could argue, made Tulsi Gabbard the most Googled candidate during the second CNN debate. It's also made Gabbard a target herself. Let's bring in the Hawaii Congresswoman. Good to have you on Primetime.
Aloha, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Good to see you. So I want to talk to you about how you took and why you seemed obviously dissatisfied with the senator's answers last night, what you think the state of play is after last night for you and the other Democrats. But I want to clear something up. You need to acknowledge that Bashar al-Assad is a murderous despot, and you can still make your argument that the United States has no business risking blood and treasure in places where it should not be. I don't understand why you didn't give that answer last night.
Well, first of all, let's talk about what you're addressing here. And I don't dispute anything that you're saying there. He's a brutal dictator, just like Saddam Hussein, just like Gaddafi in Libya. The reason that I'm so outspoken on this issue of ending these wasteful regime change wars is because I have seen firsthand this high human cost of war and the impact that it has on my fellow brothers and sisters in uniform. You know, Chris, I respect you because you've spent a lot of time throughout your career shining a light on the challenges that veterans face when they come home. I will do anything and everything that I possibly can to stop sending our men and women in uniform into harm's way, fighting in these wasteful, counterproductive wars.
The notion deserves nothing but respect, Congresswoman. Deserves nothing but respect. I'm not disputing that. I think it's a legitimate claim. But here's what I'm asking.
Even if
you put yourself in a hole, though, Congresswoman.
Let me just finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead. Finish your point,
please. Let me finish this point because it's central to the question that you're asking. I will never apologize to anyone for doing all that I can to prevent more of my brothers and sisters in uniform from being sent into harm's way to fight in these wasteful, counterproductive regime change wars, even if it means meeting with a brutal dictator focused on that objective, keeping the American people safe, making sure my brothers and sisters in uniform are honored by only being sent on missions that are worthy of their sacrifice, and making it so that we stop wasting trillions of our taxpayer dollars on more of these wasteful wars when they are so needed right here at home to address the essential and urgent needs of people in our communities, people like those here in Detroit.
I take issue with none of that. None of it. Do not make any other assumption about anything. I'm talking about one specific thing. All of that is completely valid and does not need any benefit to Bashar al-Assad. On your website, I don't understand why you have information on there that questions the notion that Assad is responsible for things that the U.S. intel and the United Nations intel believe he's responsible for. You don't need to defend him to make your argument. I don't understand why you do.
I've never defended Assad.
The stuff on the website questions the legitimacy of his connection to the attacks.
What you're referring to are cynicisms, a skepticism that I have expressed because I've served in a war that was caused by people who lied to us, who lied to the American people, who presented false evidence that members of Congress and U.S. senators believed and voted for a war that resulted in the loss of lives of over 4,000 of my brothers and sisters in uniform. The very first thing I did every single day when I served in Iraq in that field medical unit during the height of that war in 2005 was go through a list name by name of every American casualty and injury that had occurred in the previous 24 hours. I know the cost of war in a way that none of those other people on that stage last night can understand. So yes, I will always ask the tough questions. I will ask for the evidence. And as we're seeing, evidence is constantly coming through. It's our responsibility as lawmakers and as leaders in this country to make sure that our U.S. military is not being activated and deployed to go to war unless we are certain, A, that it serves the best interests of the American people, and B, that that action will actually have a positive impact.
That's why we argue on this show all the time.
The questions I'm raising are based on this experience that I've had
I hear you.
of making
I would argue
sure
that
that
what's
we are
on the
doing the right
website
thing.
isn't just raising questions, it's speculating in a way that isn't based by fact. But we've discussed that, and I don't want to spend all the time on it. And we argue on this show all the time
Let me just point you to two quick things. Let me just point you to two quick things on that.
Go ahead.
Can I point you to two quick things on that? There was a report that was recently sent out from the OPCW, the UN's organization responsible for investigating incidents of chemical weapons attacks, that brings into light a lot of different evidence that wasn't previously reported. And secondly, there's a professor from MIT who has also been an expert in missile attacks and chemical weapons, who's also shed a lot of light on this. What I'm saying is
they've raised some questions about what the
evidence.
dynamic is there. Nobody's exonerating Assad. Let me ask you something else, Congresswoman. Why do you think Senator Harris didn't have specific responses for you last night? And what do you think last night means to you going forward?
That's a great question that I wish someone would ask Senator Harris.
If she comes on the show, I'll ask her, I promise, Congresswoman. As soon as she's here, it'll be the first thing out of my mouth.
I believe that you will, because she didn't give any answers, not just to me, but to the American people last night on that debate stage. And in the interviews that she had after the debate, she again refused to address this record that she had as Attorney General that she claims to be so proud of. A lot of concerns and a lot of issues raised there. This isn't personal. It's really about making sure that the American people have the truth, because that's what this process is all about. It's about understanding how critical the decision is that's before us and the kind of leadership that we seek to bring.
Do you think she has good answers to those questions?
If she has, she's failed to present them. I think the fact that the answers she's chosen to give has nothing to do with it. She will not address the concerns raised regarding her record that she's said she's proud of. Frankly, that has caused more harm and more pain and suffering to people in California during that time, and how instead of using her position of power to be that force for positive change, to be a champion for the people that she claims to be, instead she used it to further oppress people in an already broken criminal justice system. And the only response that I've heard her and her campaign give is to push out smear attacks on me, claim that I am somehow some kind of foreign agent or a traitor to my country, the country that I love, the country that I put my life on the line to serve, the country that I still serve today as a soldier in the Army National Guard.
I have seen what's out there and what propaganda is being put out about what connections and who likes you and who's trying to help you. I don't give it any attention on this show because I don't think it warrants it. But I will fight you on the facts, and the invitation always stands. And please know this, before anything else, this show thanks you for your service. We know what it means.
I appreciate it,
I know I didn't have it in me to do what you did, and I appreciate it, and I respect it, and I respect your devotions to the others who are in uniform. So thank you, Congresswoman. I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right, be well. Now,